Hello, and how's everybody doing? We're talking a little bit South Dakota men's basketball. Head coach Todd Lee joining me now inside our Midco SN studio. And Todd, it's been a while since we've had a chance to sit down, so Happy New Year, first and foremost.
Yeah, you too, Jay.
Let's talk a little bit about the week that was for Coyote basketball. Started Wednesday night in Denver, and you got off to a great start in this game. Great first half, shot it really well. You were 53% from the field, 8 of 12 from 3. Held a 42-33 lead at the break, and that's not a position that's unfamiliar to your team as of late. 6 out of your last 9, including that game against Division I opponents, you had held a halftime lead. The problem was you'd only won one of those games. So was that part of the conversation at the halftime break?
Yeah, it was. As you said, we are normally leading at halftime, and sometimes by double digits. I was walking in the locker room, our guys were already talking about it. You know, we've been here before. And so that was good to see that our guys, recognize the fact that in the second half we haven't closed games. Mm-hmm. So we got to do a better job of that. I think a lot of that, as you know, Jay, is our depth, our lack of depth. We were down in the second half. So, sure. But the unfortunate thing was we went right out of halftime and they came right at us. Now, Joe Rozga is a very good player. He started to take over the game a little bit in the second half, and we did not come out with the same intensity. So the good thing about it, though, was we did come back. We did a better job on Rozga down the stretch, guarded better down the stretch. Didn't score for a while, which has been kind of our MO this year, and but we hung on to be able to get it to a one-possession game where we had the ball with about 20 seconds to go, and Cody was able to make that layup to win the game for us.
Let's get back to the start of the second half. That run right off the bat, 9-0, and just like that, game's tied at 42 apiece. Was there any kind of a feeling on the sideline, in the huddles, here we go again? Did you get any kind of sense
I
of
had that feeling. I think, you're human. I've coached in a lot of games, and we've, unfortunately, when you lose 6 games this early in the season by 6 points or less, we lost to Baylor by 6, we lost to North Dakota State by 6, but both those games were one-possession games. Right. And then we've lost 4 other games that were one-possession games. We had the ball with a chance to win it down the stretch. I just think it's human nature where you start thinking, oh, here we go. Yeah. And, our guys are tough, and it's not, they made that run, but it's not like we backed down. We kept the game close. They got a 3 or 4 point lead, and then we made Stan Amude got a big offensive rebound on a free throw and kicked it out to Brandon Armstrong, who made a 3 to tie the game up at 55. And at that point, we went back and forth, and so our guys aren't backing down. But I think it's just human nature to think, we've had leads at half in most every one of our games, except for Baylor. Except for Kansas, and except for Colorado. And every other game we've led, and we've really led for 30, 35 minutes in most games this year. South Dakota State, obviously, last night was we didn't lead at halftime, but for the most part we've led, and we've just at the end had trouble closing out games.
Let's go to the end of this one, because you talk about closing it out. You had to make a play late, and Ronnie Harrell goes to the free throw line for Denver, hits 1 of 2, misses the second. You do not call timeout, and you end up hitting the winning bucket with Cody Kelly. Can you take us through that last play? Was it something you'd drawn up earlier, or just let them play?
No, they had the right lineup that I wanted in. I didn't want to call timeout to let them sub and go smaller. They had their big post player in the transfer from Colorado. Stewart was in, and so he doesn't guard ball screens very well at this point, and we felt like we could take advantage of it. Tristan actually dribbled over to the sideline, and he thought I was going to call timeout, and I just told him to go. I knew we wanted to run. I knew they had a certain lineup that I felt good about, and I didn't want to call timeout, and as I said, let them sub and go smaller. So we put them in a ball screen. Rozga ended up helping off of Cody, strong corner, and Tristan made a good pass. And Cody ended up finishing over the big fella inside, and that was a great finish. So that was with 6 seconds left. They didn't call timeout, and it's hard at that point to call timeout. They took out of the net and pushed it and missed a shot at the buzzer.
Celebration unfortunately get tempered a little bit a couple of days later when you learn about an injury to Trey Burch-Manning, who played in that Denver game, played very well, was a huge part of that win for you. What's going on with Trey, and what do you know about his prospects of coming back at any point this season?
Well, yeah, we flew back from Denver, and the next day our trainer said that his foot was bothering him, and so we got it x-rayed, and there was a stress fracture detected by the doctor. And so he tried, we put him in a boot for a couple days, and the trainer said he can try to go at shoot around and see how it feels, but he's been sore, and I don't know if he's going to be able to go. So we were hoping maybe he could go against South Dakota State. We tried him in shoot around, and the trainer said it swelled up, and he said it was hurting. He said I could probably, play, but I'm not going to be anywhere near 100%. Well, previously, Logan Power had a stress fracture that was not detected. He just played through the pain. And on Christmas night, when we came back to practice, he stepped on somebody's foot and cracked a bone in his foot. So he's probably out at least 6 weeks, maybe for the season. I could not play Trey Burch-Manning with that in the back of my mind, the fact that he has a stress fracture. If he does something else, we could lose him for the year.
Right.
And I couldn't do that to him. So I talked to him after shoot around, and I said, look, I know you could probably play, but you're not going to be 100%. I can't take put that on you and put that on us. If you go out there and you do something and you're out for the year, I mean, that would be horrible. So we decided to sit the game out against South Dakota State.
Let's move on to South Dakota State then. You don't have him. Jackrabbits come out in this game and they throw a zone at you. And did that catch you by surprise?
Yeah, it did. We talked about it as a staff. We thought maybe they would do something different defensively because they just gave up a ton of points to Fort Wayne. They've lost some games recently. Maybe they would do something differently. And TJ's played other zones. I mean, it's not like – but a straight 2-3. Which is really what it was, or a 1-1-3 that ends up being a 2-3 is same thing. But, we've gone against it. We've gone against zones all year. The issue is, as you're preparing for the game, we were prepared defensively to guard the way we wanted to. A couple Arians got away from us. You go through game plans, you watch film, you cover stuff on the floor. Well, you do the same thing offensively. This is how they guard, and this is what we're going to run to take advantage of how they guard. So even though we've gone against 2-3 zones, our guys were taken aback a little bit, like, oh, they're in a zone, and they stuck with it. And so I think it took a few possessions to get used to it. We've gone against it during the year. Our guys settled in, and we missed shots at times. Got to be able to make shots, but we didn't do a great job against it, and that did surprise us.
Well, the brightest spot of the day for you, particularly on the offensive end, was Stanley Amude, and you mentioned him a little bit, but he finished with 26 points. It's 2 off his career high, which he set at Kansas back in December. 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. This is a guy, obviously, athletically, it's very apparent just what this guy can be, but overall, all-around player, he seems to really be developing into a really nice guy for you.
He is. It's interesting because he did not play last year at all. And in talking to the staff, they tried to get him the red shirt, and he didn't redshirt. He wanted to play, but he played less than the walk-ons played. So this is literally his first year of college basketball. And Stan is a great young man, but he's learning. There's so many things about the game that he learns every day in practice. Because, last year he wasn't playing. So you're still coaching those guys, but you're not paying as much attention to the guy as the guys you're playing a lot of minutes. So now he's getting coached every day because we need him, and he's playing well. And when I say he's just learning the game, I mean there are elementary things that he is just learning about the game, and he's just picking up. And you can see his learning curve is so big, and he gets better every day, and he picks things up every day, and that's why I'm trying to get on him to play with more and more energy, more and more sense of urgency on both ends of the floor. He's just learning how to do all those things. But as you said, Jay, he's had big games for us. He's athletically, he's the one guy on our team that can get his own shot when we need to. He's getting better and better.
6 straight games now for Stanley in double figures. I mean, he's been the most consistent offensive player for you for the last several weeks anyway, if not most of the season. But big challenge for him and big challenge for you this week as now you move from South Dakota State to the team that just beat them in Purdue Fort Wayne. They're coming to town on Sunday. John Conchar, obviously another one of the premier players in the Summit League, and another big challenge for you at the Sanford Coyote Sports Center.
Yeah, I think at the mid-major level it's very important to be old. I think when you're old, you're good for the most part. Last year we had a good, Coach Smith had a good group, and then everybody came off the bench was older. When you look at the players in the league, the best players are older, and he's one of them. He's such a good player. And he plays the game, watching film of him, he plays the game at his own pace. You can't hurry him up. And that's the sign of a really good player, especially a guard. He controls the game, and he plays at his own pace. And he looks like he's 28. I don't know how old he is, but he's strong, and he's big, and he's got a beard, and he just looks like he's a grown man. And that's the way he plays. So that's going to be a challenge for us. They play a very fast, they shoot a lot of threes. They get up and down. They're going to play one way, and that's a credit to them. And they're going to see if, you can beat them. And they're going to play that way, and they feel comfortable playing that way. They got quick guards. They're athletic. So, it's going to be a challenge for us because they've got, they'll go 8, 9 deep. And unfortunately, we don't have as much depth right now. Hopefully, we get Trey Burch-Manning back soon. But we'll be preparing for Fort Wayne later on in the week. We've got some things early this week that we got to take care of ourselves. One is trying to get healthy. 2, we've got some things we got to get better at. So we've got some things we got to do early in the week to get better, and then later on in the week we'll get ready for them.
All right, Todd. Well, good luck to you against Purdue Fort Wayne and getting back at home on Sunday afternoon. That game is live on Midco Sports Network, so we're looking forward to televising that one. But look forward to also sitting down with you again next week to find out how everything goes.
Thanks, Jay.